sports.
We are Baltimore. We are the Lions.
Live from Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Fox Sports Ohio brings you Cincinnati Reds baseball. 2 days ago it was 88 degrees. Today it's more like 58 and rain. But the rain is letting up, and we hope to play some baseball tonight as the Reds take on the Phils, the first of 3 from the city of brotherly love. Hi, hello, and welcome to Philadelphia, everyone. Along with the crafty left-hander Chris Welch and Jim Day, I'm George Grand. The Reds got it rolling this weekend. It was a 3-game sweep over the Washington Nationals, and Chris, they hope to keep it rolling today.
Well, they did it with pitching over the Nationals, George. Obviously, they got a lot of hits and runs as well, but it starts with starting pitching, and when you're starting your starter, and his name is Johnny Cueto, you're doing a good thing. But it's been a while since Johnny's been on the mound. 13 days, in fact, for Cueto to sit on the sidelines before he finally comes back. A little bit of some elbow tenderness. Let's hope he's okay tonight.
Well, Johnny's getting ready. The first time since against Kansas City that we see him, Chris, and he said he feels good.
Well, he does feel good. And he was never really worried. Cueto wasn't about his injury being serious. I know that they gave him an MRI. They gave him a full-scale check out of his elbow. And I think they wanted to give him a little bit of rest. They've been leaning on Johnny Cueto awfully hard so far this year. He's thrown a lot of pitches, trying to carry the ball club. And the other thing about Cueto's starts is it seems like every time he pitches, the Reds don't score very many runs. So he's right on the edge of pitching in a tight ball game with every pitch. That adds tension to your delivery, and it also takes a little something out of your arm. Hopefully he'll be back strong and right there where the Reds need him.
Well, what Reds fans want to know, which is the real Reds team? Is it the team that struggled through most of May or the team that swept the Washington Nationals? It's a team that has hit well on the road, especially these 3 guys. Coming up next, JD will chronicle the hot Reds on the road.
Host to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. I'm Jim Day on the field here at Citizens Bank Park, and indeed the rain keeps coming down, but no announcement. It looks like they are going to play, at least initially, through this rain. We saw the Reds' bats heat up this past weekend, particularly with runners in scoring position, and they would like some guys that have been hot on the road to continue that way here in Philadelphia. It's part of our Elk and Elk storylines tonight. Road Warriors, these are Reds players hitting over 300 on the road this season, led by Brandon Phillips, third in the National League with a 360 average on the road. Cozart at 333, and Joey Votto is typical over 300, 333. And the Reds would take that and certainly take the way they hit with runners in scoring position this past weekend as we go upstairs to the guys that will call the game, George Grant and Chris Welch.
Thanks, JD. And you got your Weather Channel gear on. You look pretty good down there. And you're right. It looked like we were going to get a break at the start of this one. The rain had stopped as you look at Todd Frazier, the reigning player of the week in the National League. And then all of a sudden, about 20 minutes ago, the rain started to come down pretty hard again. The umpiring crew down at home plate just met with the Reds and the Phils, and they, so far, going ahead with the start of this game. Alfonso Marquez is the home plate umpire. Dan Bellino's at first. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, at second, and Bruce Streckman will be at third base. The Reds, Chris, are trying to keep it going after what they did over the weekend, sweeping the Washington Nationals. And as JD mentioned, you know, hitting on the road is important, but also this team turned it around with runners in scoring position after struggling through the whole month of May. The three-game sweep of the Nationals was a different story.
Well, they scored a lot of runs. I mean, 7, 8, and 8 of the runs they scored. They hit over 300 against the Nationals. The only team this year that they've hit over 300 against. And then when you get runners on base and you're hitting well, you're going to hit well with runners in scoring position. This is a very small sample, 38 at bats. So, I mean, the fact that they're hitting 429, some of that is good hitting, some of that is good luck. But they hope to keep that kind of good luck going because, you know, once you get on a roll, whether it's a good roll or a bad roll, they've been on a bad roll, sometimes you can just keep, you know, getting that snowball bigger and bigger. I think they're catching the Phillies at the right time, and this may be a very interesting series and a good boost for the Reds to be able to get into Philadelphia and get the Phillies at a time when they're not playing very well.
Phillies have lost 7 straight. They have lost 10 of their last 12. Let's check the starting lineup for Ryan Price and the Cincinnati Reds as they come to Philadelphia. They haven't won a series here since 2006. Your Myers starting lineup has Brandon Phillips in the leadoff spot. Joey Votto with that 333 average on the road, hitting in the number 2 spot. Frazier, the reigning player of the week in the National League. What a hot week he had. Jay Bruce will hit in the cleanup spot. Brian Pena, the switch hitter behind him. Marlon Byrd returning to Philadelphia, where, of course, as a young player, he burst into the major league. Zach Cozart, the shortstop, and Johnny Cueto will hit in the 8th spot, the way Hamilton has been the last couple of games. Billy will hit in the 9th spot. That is your Myers starting lineup for the Cincinnati Reds. Jim Riggleman, the third base coach for the Reds, ready to go to work. Billy Hatcher down at first, and on the mound, Sean O'Sullivan gets the ball, Chris, for the Phillies.
Well, O'Sullivan is a 27-year-old right-hander. He's originally from San Diego. He's kind of a fill-in pitcher for the Phillies. He's had 6 starts overall, not great success. You know, like a lot of guys coming up with not an overpowering fastball, and he tops out about 90, 91. He's got to get his off-speed stuff over, and that means change up the left-handers and sliders to right-handers. If he doesn't do that, the Reds ought to be able to get some runs off of him tonight.
Well, ready to go to work. Here's Brandon swinging at the first pitch, fouling it down the third base line for strike 1. Phillips back in the leadoff spot, and so many times over the last few years when the Reds have turned losing streaks around, this is where it's started to come together when this guy's been inserted back in the leadoff spot. Overall, .291, the second baseman, who's a 3-time All-Star and a 4-time Gold Glover, digs in. That's blooped into left, a base hit. So bad toe and all. Marching down to first is Brandon Phillips. The left toe still bothering him. Defensively, the Phillies continue to struggle. The Phillies are 12th in the National League with 35 errors compared to only 21 for the Reds. Your 4 defensive alignment for the Phillies: Asche's in left, Herrera in center, Ben Revere is in right, Franco, Galvis, Utley, and Howard. Boy, they have been there forever on the right side, haven't they? And Carlos Ruiz behind the plate catching O'Sullivan. That's your 4 defensive alignment. Of course, Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips have been together for now 879 games. Those 2 guys have been together more than anybody else currently in baseball, Chris. They're like fixtures over there.
And there are some people in Philadelphia that feel like maybe they've been together too long.
One of the keys to this Phillies rebuilding is obviously, will they deal Ryan Howard? Will they deal Cole Hamels? Those are stories that might unfold during the course of the next month. There's Joey Votto in at 282, 9 homers and 24 knocked in. Short lead for Phillips. From the stretch is O'Sullivan. That's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Reds' first baseman. Joey now in his 1,001st game as a Reds. Hit the 1,000 mark this past weekend against Washington with an average hovering at 282. The Reds, you know, run a lot. They have 49 stolen bases compared to only 24 for the Phillies, and they've only been caught 11 times. Brandon early in his career was a book at 20 stolen base guy. Those numbers have gone down dramatically, and even though the left toe bothers him, if you don't take a peek over there, he'll pick your pocket. Pass ball is up high, says Alfonso Marquez, your home plate umpire.
You know, you don't get the feeling watching Joey Votto in the box against O'Sullivan that he's got any kind of urgency to swing the bat. O'Sullivan doesn't have any one pitch that is a put-away pitch. So Votto is going to be very patient here and get something he thinks he can really handle.
Now, the one thing that we will look at, and he's this early going, the infield, of course, was covered during the heaviest rain. The outfield has not been covered. So in situations with runners in scoring position, any base hit to the outfield could be problematical to get a grip on the ball by any outfielder to make a throw at the plate. And the way it's raining now, even a ground ball in the infield could be trouble. That's hit hard down the right field line towards the corner. Phillips around second, heading to third. They may send him. Riggleman rounds him third. He's going to send him. Votto will stop at second, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead. Holding the runner on, Howard took 1 step off the bag, and the ball went where he was. It zipped right past him down the line, and by the time Revere got to it, Phillips was rambling around third, 1-0 Reds.
I mean, you just had a feeling watching Votto in the box that he just seeing the ball really big. It really didn't matter where it was. He was going to put the barrel of the bat on it. And he did. The ball shot right down the line. Good spot for a double.
Snuck by Phillips by Howard, and Phillips rambles home, and the Reds lead it 1-0. And the Reds have another runner in scoring position, and here's Todd Frazier. They announced Frazier, and you can hear there's not many people here right now. They haven't been averaging a lot of fans to start with, and with the rain, there aren't many here tonight. But Frazier, of course, a native of Toms River, New Jersey, slept in his own bed last night, which is pretty good on a road trip. And while there aren't many fans here overall, there are a lot of Frazier fans here, Chris.
Most of them from Toms River.
So from the stretch is O'Sullivan. Frazier at 287, 16 homers, 31 knocked in. He trails only Bryce Harper in the National League, who has 18 home runs. He hits this a mile in the air, but straight up the elevator shaft. Who's going to take charge? Coming over is Galvis. He does, and there's your first out of the inning. Our IGS bringing the energy numbers for Todd for Player of the Week. How did he do, Chris? He did pretty darn good.
Well, you're right. I mean, he really dominated in the National League last week, hitting 500 overall, 11 hits and 22 ABs, 4 doubles, 4 home runs, 7 runs batted in. And did a lot of smiling in the process.
Now
you know, if there is such a thing as hitting a pop-up really hard,
you're right.
You just saw one.
Yeah.
I mean, that ball was smoked, but it went straight up.
Bruce rips this one foul down the right field line into the corner. I mean, he just missed that ball. It went straight up in the air, but he just missed it.
I mean, everybody who's come up there has had a really good swing. And if you're Sean O'Sullivan, you're thinking, you know, I really don't have the stuff to get these guys out. I have to enable them to get themselves out.
Foul back, no balls, 2 strikes. And that little tickety-tack that you hear is not anything but rain hitting the microphones. That's the sound. That's how heavy the rain is coming down right now. I'm a little surprised they started the game, but Chris, the forecast shows that the rain was supposed to stop now and then get heavier later, so I guess they're figuring maybe we can get this in.
I think it was raining when we left here last time.
Yeah. It hasn't stopped, has it? We've had some
and that was last year.
We've had some long nights in Philly over the years, haven't we? 0-2. That's a little low.
Oh, we have that Wilson Valdez game, 19 innings worth.
Man.
There were about as many people. Actually, there are about 4 times as many here now as there were at the end of that game in 19 innings.
2 o'clock in the morning. You don't forget those, do you? You don't remember the hour and 54-minute ones.
Even if you try to remember them, you can't. Or forget them, you can't forget them.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Bruce in at 222. 7 homers, 23 knocked in. They're shaded a little bit towards the right in the outfield. Runner on second, so they do not overshift on Bruce. This Philly team is about in the middle of the pack in terms of overshifting defensively. Some teams do it a lot, like Houston or Pittsburgh. Other teams do it moderately, and the Phillies are one of those. Bruce is on the Ryan Howard list of players that have been robbed consistently by the overshifting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just stays alive getting a piece of that. Well, you look at this, Chris, and somewhat surprisingly against left-handed batters, they have hit much better against this right-hander, unlike the rest of his career. Earlier in his career it was the other way around, but he just doesn't have a pitch to get lefties out.
Well, he doesn't have his changeup working. I mean, he throws it 15% of the time. It just doesn't have a lot of movement on it.
Yes, missing up and in, and he slipped a little on the mound. He looks down at his foot.
Well, you know, he's continuing to try to pitch Bruce inside. He's made some really good pitches in this at bat, but you know, when you've got sloppy footing out there, it's just not easy at all. It not only does it make you slip a little bit, but it gets into your head. So when you're in the middle of the delivery, you're thinking, am I going to have a good firm landing spot and throw the ball where I want to? And you really don't know if you are or not.
That's ball 4. So down 0-2. Bruce works a walk, puts runners at first and second with 1 out, and here comes the switch hitting catcher Brian Pena. Sullivan comes in 1-4 on the year and an ERA almost near 5, 4.81.
Well, he really wouldn't be in the rotation had the Phillies not had some injuries, specifically Cliff Lee, who is now on the 60-day disabled list. So they're looking around for replacements.
Here's Pena. That's a strike.
That's a changeup. I mean, a lot of times we're going to show changeups, and we'll show Johnny Cueto's changeup later on. But I mean, that changeup comes in about 6 miles an hour slower than his fastball, and it's pretty straight. And that's not really a lot of deception going on there. So he really has to pitch to his spots.
In the air to left center. Herrera over, and so is the left fielder ASCHE. ASCHE will glove it, and the runners will hold.
ASCHE boxed him out to get that rebound.
Where's Will Chamberlain when you need him?
Well, Herrera is primarily an infielder. He just started playing outfield this spring training when he was picked up last year off the Rule 5 draft by the Phillies from the Texas Rangers. So he's a guy that doesn't have much experience out there, and of course he's going to go after everything he thinks he can get to.
Here's Marlon Byrd, who broke into the major leagues 13 years ago here in Philadelphia. Spent 4 years with the Phillies and still has fond memories of his time here. Swings at a high fastball and misses for strike 1. So it would look like a very promising inning for the Reds. 1-0. O'Sullivan's within an out of getting out of a jam. Byrd in at 209, but the power numbers 10 homers and 25 knocked in. High in the air to right. Peering up into the rain and the fog is the right fielder REVERE, and he'll haul it in. So the Reds get a single and a double to get a run from VOTTO's RBI, but that's all they get. Here comes Johnny Cueto. Do you see number 47 back on the mound?
Well, you're right about that, George. He was missed, obviously. I mean, when you miss 13 days, you miss a couple of starts in that time. He's had 9 starts overall, and even his bad starts are pretty good when you compare him to, you know, a pitcher down in the bottom part of your rotation. He strikes out a lot. He doesn't walk very many. He's given up a few more home runs this year than in years past. But I think the biggest thing that stands out for Cueto is that 3-4 record that you see right here. I mean, he's a guy that just simply doesn't get very many runs, and it's been that way for quite a long time for Johnny when he takes the mound for the Reds. But he still figures out a way to get the job done.
Cueto, as he always does, takes a step back off the mound, says a bit of a prayer. Always. And Chris, it was Mario Soto who impressed upon him the importance of being straight on the rubber and not peeling off, not losing your direction towards home plate, and he still draws that line heading towards home plate.
And I think it's probably more a figurative line than really a guideline for him to actually look down and see where he's landing. And there you see the line right there. But he just wants to be, as you say, George, pitching is a linear exercise, and you've got to be on line if you're going to make all your pitches work.
There's been REVERE at 258, no homers, 15 knocked in. The Phillies offensively were pretty competitive in the early going, but during this funk where they've lost 10 of 12 and 7 straight, they've been hitting in the 100s. Overall, they're 14th in the league offensively at 237. They're 15th in the league in home runs. They've hit only 27 home runs compared, for instance, to the Reds' 58. Here's Ryne Sandberg, the former Philly, and of course the Hall of Famer, made most of his Hall of Fame numbers with the Chicago Cubs, 2005 member of the Hall of Fame class. Slap foul by REVERE. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a veteran staff. Sandberg is the manager. Larry Boa, who's been back and forth here in Philadelphia for years. He was an outstanding shortstop. Now he's the bench coach. Hindu Steve Henderson is here as the hitting coach. Bob McClure. There's Larry Boa. Oh, Pena was ready to throw down to third, and Cueto, all he's doing is smiling. Take a look. What do you think, Chris?
Well, Pena thinks it was a strike, so much so he's getting ready to fire at the third base, and then he kind of short-armed it back to Cueto. That ball's right on the corner.
Full count, 3-2.
Yeah, but how confident are you if you get a call like that from an umpire, and it goes to 3-2, and what does Cueto do? He smiles and laughs about it. I mean, other guys are going to be angry. They're going to want to know where that pitch was. How can you not call that a strike? Cueto's so confident in himself, it doesn't really matter.
And REVERE's hanging in there. What do you want your leadoff hitter to do? That's make the starting pitcher throw as many of his pitches as you can, and that's what Ben REVERE's doing here. 3-2. Loop towards center. Here comes Billy. Will he get there? He does! Sliding on the wet turf, Billy Hamilton robs REVERE of a base hit. And Cueto points to him, and he points right back at him. He may slump at the plate, Chris, but this defense hasn't slumped at all.
Well, you know, his defense for another converted infielder, we talked about the Phillies guy. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago that Billy Hamilton was a full-time shortstop. And he plays center field as well as anybody in the league.
This is the kind of grass you could have fun on, huh?
Slip and slide.
The kids, yeah. Where's Rick Dempsey? Can you illustrate that for us?
Yeah.
What's your estimate on how far he did slide?
You know, not bad for flag ground. I mean, he probably went 15 feet.
Bounce back to Cueto by Freddie Galvis. He takes care of it, and there's 2 away. Galvis in at 289. Let's check Ryne Sandberg's full lineup. REVERE in the leadoff spot. Freddie Galvis bats in the number 2 spot. And the veteran Chase Utley comes to the plate. Ryan Howard will hit behind him in the cleanup spot. Franco, ASCHE, Herrera, Ruiz, and O'Sullivan. That's 1 through 9. The starting lineup for the Phillies, who come in 19-33 and 10 games back in the National League East. The Reds start today 10.5 games back in the National League Central. When do you trade your veteran players when you're starting to rebuild? I think, you know, that's a question that really there is no answer to. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Last year, Chase Utley was at the 270 mark. Now he's at 194 coming into today. Utley, Howard, Rollins was traded. He's in Los Angeles. Lee, Hamels, all numbers and names that have been rumored to have been on the trading block, but a whole bunch of them are still here. Showing bunt, and he'll bunt for a base hit. The Reds overshift, and Utley will take the base hit.
Well, I mean, they're giving it to him, and what Utley does is make sure he gets the ball down. It doesn't have to be a very good bunt. It just has to be fair. And the whole idea is, I mean, there's only a limited number of threats that they have in this lineup, and the one big threat that they do have is Ryan Howard, and he's coming up next. So why wouldn't Utley want to keep the line moving enough to get Howard up there with somebody on base?
Early in the game in a situation like that, that's a smart baseball move. Utley down at first. Here's Howard. Ryan at 244, 10 homers, 25 knocked in. He's had some success against Cueto, 4 for 18 and a homer. At one point, he was a Rookie of the Year, then an MVP. There's a bouncer down past the first base coach, Sammy. Juan Samuel, the former Red and former Philly. And down in the third base coach's box, Pete McCannon, another former Red. McCannon, in fact, was an interim manager for the Reds when Jerry Narron was relieved of his duties.
I think he was a wasn't he an interim manager also? Was it in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh after McClendon was fired.
And he was joking one year. We saw him after he was an interim manager for the Reds, interim manager for the Pirates. He said, I'm going to go to the winter meetings with a new business card. He says interim manager for hire.
And he did. Changeup way out in front is Howard. You know, Chris, we talk often about the Atlanta Braves and what John Schuerholz did in those 14 consecutive division championships and postseason appearances. The thing that was amazing was every year he would change almost a third of his roster. So he never got to the point where he had an overloaded older club. He was remarkable in doing that. The Phillies have struggled in doing that here. High in the air to left. It's going to stay in the park. Bird back at the warning track. He's still going back, and he'll finally haul it in. Ryan Howard, just like Frazier, hit it a mile in the air. But thanks to an outstanding catch by Billy Hamilton, the Reds escaped the first unscathed and lead it 1-0. MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, reviews, radio broadcast, statcasts, and a whole lot more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Reds get a run in the first, single by Phillips, double by VOTTO. Here's Zach Cozart to lead off the second. Talking to Larry Boa before the game, he said, "Boy, I like that kid Cozart." I said, "Probably because he reminds you of yourself. You know, just a ball player. You know, he does all the right things." I mean, Larry was one of the best shortstops in the history of the game. He finished his career, and he was edged out by Jimmy Rollins, the latest veteran shortstop here in Philadelphia, for the most number of chances. Was a Gold Glove winner, a spark plug as a leader. Boy,
Completely different personalities.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
I mean, you got to admit that. I mean, Larry Boa is kind of like a barking junkyard dog. I mean, he's still barking.
But that's Philly.
Even in his 60s.
Cozart sends this to left. It'll stay in the ballpark, though. ASCHE under it. He's got it one away. But you know, doesn't that match the way you would expect a Philly shortstop to be?
Yeah, you're right.
He'll set the defense. He's the bench coach for Ryan Sandberg. Don't cross him too. He'll get a little fire in that belly.
You know, every coaching staff seems to have an enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a big, burly, mean-looking guy. It can be a little mean-looking guy, like Larry Boa.
Yep.
And he'll take a chunk right out of you.
I don't know that the Reds have had one since Ronnie Oster.
I think you're right.
You know, I mean, Ronnie was that kind of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Cueto in at 214.
That's pretty good.
Not bad at all. No balls, 2 strikes. He waves at it. That's strike 3. Strikeout #1 for O'Sullivan, and here comes Billy Hamilton. Chris, you come back to Philadelphia, and I know your thoughts and your memories go to one of the greatest Hall of Famers that you and I knew, and that, of course, is the great Philly right-hander Robin Roberts.
Well, Robin was instrumental in getting me on the right track to be able to play pro ball. And he was a guy that, George, what did he pitch 6 consecutive years where he threw 300 innings in a season? Now they're worried about a guy going 200 innings going to be worn out. I mean, he said he would throw nothing but fastballs for the first 7 innings, and then he'd break out his breaking ball. What a beautiful delivery, and just was able to simplify the game so much. You got to know him quite well, of course, in all those years with the Baseball Hall of Fame and the inductions and all.
And you and I would list him and his wife Mary as 2 special people, huh? Dumps a bunt down, does Hamilton, the quick flip, not in. Oh, they say they got him. Billy Hatcher looks towards the dugout, and he's saying, hold on, hold on. So Brian Price is coming out. Let's see if we'll challenge it. It looked like he was on the bag when the ball hit the glove. Take another look. Judge for yourself.
I don't think there's any question about it. That should not be too long in review. It really looked like Billy Hamilton accelerated even more than he normally does the last couple of steps. What he didn't do this time is take a really long stride. You know, that long stride, oftentimes you see a guy leap to the bag. That doesn't really get you there any faster. That time, Billy just simply ran right through the bag and beat it. Let's take a look at it again.
Man, he can fly. Yeah, 2 things, and Billy Hatcher's talked to him about it. Number 1, it is very clearly right there he's on the bag. But you got to bunt the ball first, then run. And he did exactly that. He's going to be called safe, so the Reds with 2 outs have a base runner. Now let's see if Billy's off and running.
I'm really happy to see him use the bunt more and more. I mean, and I would even take it a step further, and if he decides to take a pitch before the pitch is on the way, he ought to fake bunt. because then you're getting the infield moving every pitch. You're going to wear them down a little bit. And at one time, they're going to be a little bit dulled, and maybe you'll be able to get a bunt down and get an extra base hit out of it.
So back to the top of the order. Here's Brandon. He singled to left and scored on the double by VOTTO. Hamilton, 21 stolen bases. He's been caught only 3 times. Good snare by Ryan Howard on the toss from O'Sullivan. Overall, Billy now has 90 stolen bases in 203 career games. Remarkable numbers. Here's Ryan Howard talking to Billy Hatcher saying, give me a break. I got this guy over here and he's throwing the ball in the dirt to me. I tell you, Chris, you can say what you want. Ryan Howard may struggle at times, but since his first day that we met him,
yep,
what a first-class young man. You know, he struggled offensively. He's had difficulty physically, but he never bellyached, never complained. A little bigger lead for Hamilton. Bluffs going, bluffs again, not going.
Well, the word out of Florida was, George, about the Phillies around their camp this spring is that Ryan Howard had come into camp a lot lighter, had lost a lot of weight. He still looks like he's not put that weight back on yet. I mean, we've seen him at times, you know, be really big. Of course, he had an Achilles tendon injury that he had at the very last game of the year. It took him almost a year to get back, and he really wasn't able to do much to stay in shape.
They got him picked, but it's in the dirt. Can he get around him? He tags him out. Picked off is Billy Hamilton. They get him. They pick his pocket. So the Reds get a 2-out hit. Nothing to show for it. Ohio's Christine Sheltrown and Mo Egger from 700 WLW at the Holy Grail. It's your chance to answer Reds trivia, win prizes, be part of Reds Live. Fun gets started Friday night at 6 at the Holy Grail. And even if you don't win prizes, just hang around and you can trade trivia with Mo. You'll have some fun. Here's Franco. Asche and Herrera will follow. Slow bouncer wide of third, bobbled by Frazier, and on base will be Franco. Went a long way to get the ball that was significantly slowed by the wet grass, and I don't even know if he could have thrown him out by the time he got it anyways. That'll be an error on the third baseman, Frazier. So Cueto will work from the stretch, and here's Cody Asche in at 256. That's up and away. Asche, recall Friday from AAA Lehigh Valley. That's ripped towards the corner and right. It's a fair ball. Here comes Franco around second, going to third. They'll hold him there. It'll be a two-base hit for Asche. So an error and a double. It's second and third with no one out.
Well, they really like Cody Asche. He's an infielder by trade. He's only 25 years old. He's from outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Went to the University of Nebraska, and they like his swing. He's a guy that is a right-handed thrower, obviously a left-handed hitter.
Well, you know, the Reds have struggled with runners in scoring position the first 2 months of the season, but now the Phillies have taken that mantle and ripped it from them. The Phillies won for their last 28 with runners in scoring position. They've been horrible during the 7-game losing streak, and they're back at it again here. Cueto looking for a strikeout of the young center fielder Herrera. When you look at Herrera's numbers, he started off like a ball of fire. It was over 300 for the first month. Since then, has hit 188, and the numbers have dropped down to the 250 range. A homer, 14 knocked in. Still 44 hits, and that's number 2 overall among National League rookies. That kicks away, but the runners are going nowhere. You look at the offensive statistics among rookies in the National League, and Herrera's in the top 10 in just about all of them, including stolen bases. He's number one.
He's a real aggressive hitter, George, and I think what happens a lot of time is a young player comes on the scene and he comes out swinging, and you're really not sure how to pitch him. And then eventually the league figures it out. The word gets around through the scouting network as to what this young man can and cannot do, and his batting average begins to hurt a little bit. He's got a wide stance, kind of a high leg kick, but he is ultra aggressive in there. I'm surprised he hasn't swung at any of the pitches we've seen so far.
2 balls, 1 strike to Herrera. Carlos Ruiz, the veteran catcher, on deck, and then the pitcher to follow.
He can really run a little bit too, get down the line right around 4-second mark.
Error allowed Franco to reach. Asche a double, so second and third. No one out here in the second. Wide of third, foul.
We talked about pitches under stress. You know, when your team doesn't score a lot of runs, and Cueto hasn't had very many one of those games where he's had a 4 or 5 run lead that he can kind of play around a little bit. These are those kind of pitches that we're talking about. Even though you're at the bottom of the order, nobody out, man on third, Cueto's thinking about getting out of this jam, starting with a strikeout right here.
Good smother by Pena behind the plate, and it goes full 3-2. Dribbled down to first. Will anybody get to first? Cueto will, and they get the out, but a run will score. At first, Johnny held up, thinking, I think, that Votto was going to go to the plate, not getting in his way, and then he finally realized he had to cover the bag.
I think the other part of it, I think that it's in this kind of no man's land area where he wasn't sure whether he could get to the ball or not. And he almost hesitated too long right there. Good recovery by both Votto and Johnny Cueto on that one.
Now the runner scores, another goes to third. Now with 1 out, it's a tie ball game, and here comes Carlos Ruiz, the catcher. Asche to third, and Ruiz at 252 steps in. Carlos, another one of those veterans that have been so much a part of this Philly franchise. With a host of young pitchers, they look at him to lead this young pitching staff as it evolves. Infield in for the Reds. Blooped but fouled down the first base line, 0-2.
You know, we talked about the futility that the Reds have had scoring runs this year. The Reds, the bad news is that they're 14th in the league in runs scored. The good news is that they're 38 runs ahead of the last place team, and that would be the Phillies. 192 runs the Reds have scored this year, but in last place is the Phillies. And look at the difference there between the group that's right around the bottom of the league, like the Reds, and the Phillies. I mean, they're on their own island right there and setting new standards for futility and offense.
Well, you can see already Cueto did it in the first inning. He's questioning a couple of calls here in the second inning at Alfonso Marquez's home plate calls. Thought that was strike 3. Pena holds on. That is strike 3, and there's your second out of the inning. First strikeout for Johnny, and here comes the pitcher, Sean O'Sullivan.
He keeps coming back inside, first with a slider, then with a sinking fastball right there. And boy, what a great spot.
O'Sullivan in at an even 100, takes a strike on the outside corner. Top of the order, Ben Revere up next. As you can see, the umbrellas popped up all around the ballpark. Still raining, but the lightest that it's rained since the game started. As this front moves through, there's a chance of showers tomorrow, but it's expected to be okay. Oh, yeah.
Must be a boring conversation.
Yeah. He's on the phone. What else is he going to do? Phone should be outlawed at the ballpark. No phones at the ballpark. Talk about the game.
Yeah.
No chance, huh? Not in this day and age.
Maybe he's calling for some pizza.
They're wanting to know whether Welsh is wearing his bow tie today.
Oh, you can count on that, George. Reds have been very good on Tuesday so far this year.
6-1. And you do it again.
It helps when Cueto's on the mound.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny's got to figure that Alfonso Marquez is squeezing him a little bit because he's pitched to both sides of the plate, seemingly spots that he wants the pitches. That last one, number 5 right there, our Fox track shows is slightly outside. Every pitcher wants that pitch, and every hitter wants that pitch as well.
2-2. Chris, Johnny told us over the course of the last couple of weeks that he felt fine and was feeling better each day, and so far what we see reaffirms that.
I don't think there was really a lot of deep concern. I think it was as much giving Johnny a little bit of a break as anything else.
Now that's about the 5th pitch he's questioned, and he just takes the ball up, rubs it up. The only time he'll do that is when he's obviously at odds with the home plate umpire. 3-2. Sky to the right side. Votto camped under it. Oh, he's got it. That'll do it. But the leadoff error starts the ball rolling. We're tied at 1 going to the 3rd.
That there can be certain things that in the back of your mind you think about it, or certain things about that environment in which you don't feel like you're at your best. I don't know. Until I read that today in the notes, I didn't know that. I've never been uncomfortable coming to Philadelphia, and I know they've had some great teams here in the past. But yeah, I don't think with this particular bunch that there's a huge hangover playing in Philly.
I'm Jim Day. That's manager Brian Price talking about the Reds' inability to win a series. Last time they won a series here was 2006, and of course they only play here one series per year. But over that span, 8-21 record. Little caveat with that, there were some terrific Phillies teams here that they went up against. A little bit of a lesser team that they're facing, obviously, here this season. So this will be a time to get off the schneid, George.
JD, looks like the rain is slacking down there.
It is a little bit. It is definitely lightened up. It's kind of just a mist right now.
Some memories from Philadelphia for you include a lot of rain, doesn't it?
Oh, rain like you guys were talking about in late nights. I'm not sure what year it was, but when we came here for a makeup date at the end of a road trip.
One game trip
here, and already had a rain delay earlier in the game, and then in the ninth, the Reds gave it up, and then it poured. I remember signing off that night at, I think it was 2:30 in the morning, and they had a home game the next day. So there have been some long days here.
Phillips to right. That's going to fall in front of Revere. Brandon around first, going to second. And he'll be 2 for 2. Single to left in the first and scored on the double by Votto. He starts it off in the third with a 2-base hit to right. I think that was Francisco Cordero was on the mound that night, Chris.
Well, he gave it up in the ninth inning when all he had to do was get 3 outs, and he had a comfortable lead, and I think he couldn't throw a strike. And that was the reason why they ended up getting it tied and going to 2:30 in the morning. Little bloop double right there for Brandon. Not only is Brandon swinging a hot bat in as much as he's hitting the ball hard a lot, but he's also getting those breaks of balls falling in for him.
Here's Joey, who doubled in a run in the first. From the stretch is O'Sullivan. Broken bat looped into left. Here comes Phillips around third. They're going to send him. Here comes ASCHE. His throw to the plate will be cut. And the Reds combo does it again. A leadoff hit by Phillips, another hit by Votto, and the Reds have retaken the lead 2-1. Something we saw this weekend, Chris, that the Reds have not done is that they kept coming back, and they're doing it again here tonight.
That's a pretty good pitch right there that O'Sullivan throws to Votto, and he's still able to get it into the outfield. Now, if Brandon Phillips has got turf toe or bone chips or whatever else he's got, calcium deposits on his toe, you can never tell by the way he's running the bases. I mean, he might be limping a little bit in pregame, limping in the dugout. But I'll tell you what, when he straps that uniform on, he comes ready to play.
He's a gamer, and boy, he is always delivered when the Reds needed it at critical times. Here's Frazier. Pop one up in the infield of the shortstop, first time up. Steps out, takes a look at Jim Riggleman, who rolls through some signs for him. Votto short lead off first. Another broken bat, this one looped into left. ASCHE will be there, and he'll haul it in.
Now, it looks like this time through the order, what O'Sullivan is doing is forcing his off-speed stuff a little bit more. You know, Votto got one out of the end of the bat. That was a changeup. That was an off-speed pitch right there that he throws to Frazier. So we got through the lineup the first time throwing mainly fastballs, and now he's going to a little bit more off-speed stuff.
More bats broken on changeups or in on the hands of fastball?
Well, they're more fun when you get it on the hands.
As a pitcher, yeah. Down to first. Howard will go to second for one. The return to first, not in time. Jay Bruce beats the return throw. 3-6 put out for the first out, and that unable to get the double play to end the inning.
Looked like a double play in the making, especially with Howard, left-handed thrower down there. And Votto doesn't even slide. I mean, he just kind of waltzes right into second base and gets out of the way of the throw. I think it's just good hustle by Jay Bruce.
Early in his career, Ryan Howard was a Gold Glove caliber first baseman. The ankle, knee, thigh injuries have cut down his range defensively. So Bruce is on, and here's Pena, fly to left first time up. I mean, you look at the right side of the infield at one time, Chris. Howard, even when he was heavier, he moved around pretty good. Utley was one of the best defensive second basemen in the game for many years, but the injuries have slowed him. So defensively, this team has gotten slower and worse over the years. Pena sends it to the left side and out of play.
The Phillies had a run there, you know, around the 2009, 2010, 11, where they were getting to the postseason every year. They won the World Series in 2008. They lost to the Yankees in 2009. And, you know, Howard was a big part of that. Shane Victorino, Jimmy Rollins, Jason Worth was playing for them then. And the only holdovers are the two guys you see on the right side of the infield and the guy behind the plate, Carlos Ruiz. Some of the pitchers, obviously, as well.
Down the left field line, curving towards the foul line. It'll be out of play.
Cole Hamels is still here, at least temporarily. Or at least for the time, I should say for the time being.
I mean, for 2 years, we've heard the same story, that the Phillies have been entertaining offers for Lee, for Hamels, for Rollins last year, and Rollins was eventually traded to the Dodgers, and for Ryan Howard. Only one deal came through, and of course Papelbon too. His name is high on the list again this year, their closer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryan will get that, and he'll tap the bag. So the Reds get a double from Phillips, a single from VOTTO, retake the lead 2-1. To the bottom of 3 we go. Here's your 4 defensive alignment for the Reds. Second in the league defensively. Only 21 miscues on the season. As usual, Bird, Hamilton, Bruce across the outfield. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, VOTTO across the infield. VOTTO and Phillips playing in their 879th game together. The longest tandem in Reds second and first base history. And behind the plate is Pena catching number 47, Johnny Cueto.
You know, I just wonder if Johnny Cueto, when he takes the mound here, whether he ever thinks back about the first time that he took the mound here at this ballpark in 2009, July the 6th. There's the line that he had. He pitched 2/3 of an inning and gave up 9 earned runs. I remember bragging to people here in Philadelphia before the ball game began, say, hey, wait till you see this guy Cueto pitch, man. He's really going to be something. And then he couldn't even get out of the first inning. 10 runs in the first inning the Phillies scored, and 9 of those were attributed to Cueto. And the weird thing is that he walked Jimmy Rollins to get the game going. Then he gave up a home run to Victorino. And then he got 2 outs. But he could not get that 3rd out. 7 more runs came in against Cueto that night. A 22-1 loss the Reds had here against the Phillies. And in fact, it was so bad that Paul Janisch, who was a shortstop, he pitched the last inning.
That's right.
Gave up a home run to Jason Worth.
No balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Ben Revere. The other thing I remember about that, we were ballyhooing Cueto, and remember Charlie Manuel was the manager then, and he was going to be the All-Star manager. And the question was, might Cueto be named to the All-Star team? That's a call, strike 3. Revere is retired. That's strikeout number 2 for Cueto.
Well, he gets it on a fastball, so we're going to call it our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce right there on the inside corner. Johnny Cueto dialing it up anywhere that fastball goes between 91 and 95. That one at 93 miles an hour.
The other part of that story was that in that series, Jason Worth hit 3 home runs, and Worth ended up making the All-Star team. Cueto never made the All-Star team that year. It was a point in time where Worth really took off from that point for the Phillies. Here's Freddie Galvis, bounce back to the pitcher first time up, change up way out in front, swing and a miss. Big shoes to fill at short for historically one of the best shortstops in Phillies history. I think Larry Bowa will always go down as the best shortstop. All the all-time teams have Bowa as number 1. This one line to left. Here comes Bird. He's got it. And here comes Utley. Reached on a bunt hit when the Reds overshifted to the right side, and he dumped a simple bunt down to third for an infield hit. Now, whether he has good numbers or bad numbers, everybody in this league has respected the way this guy's played the game since he came out of UCLA and made it to the major leagues. Short, quick swing, plays the game the right way, defensively, offensively, does the little things. And when his career is all said and done, what he's done off the field is just as important as what he's done on the field. He and his wife have been so involved in the community here in Philadelphia. But Father Time catches everybody at some point in time, huh?
Hall of Famer?
Tough to say. You know, the numbers don't add up to that.
231 home runs, fewer than 1,000 runs batted in.
Yep.
Lifetime 283 hitter.
I think certainly a Philly Hall of Famer. And he gets another hit to the left side. He beats the shift twice. So 2 hits for Utley, 2 for 2. Smart ball player.
It almost looks like he could do that at will. He must not be doing it all that much because he came into this ball game hitting less than 200. He just always seems to hit the Reds well.
You know, and really your offensive approach against the shift depends on the game. And in a 1-run game, if you're going to overshift on me, I need a run to tie. Why not take that? Here's Howard, fly to left first time up. Now the latest rumors that have been flying around Ryan Howard, the Cardinals, of course, Adams is on the disabled list. Mark Reynolds has been playing a lot at first. Might the Cardinals make a move to bring Ryan Howard back to St. Louis? That's his hometown. His numbers provide power. 10 homers, 25 knocked in. His average. Now, at one time, he was the 2005 Rookie of the Year, then the 2006 MVP, and for a 4-year period had over 40 home runs a season. And then injuries. You know, just like we talked of Joey Votto, that back leg, the left leg, when he hurt his knee, how his numbers suffered. It's been the same story with Howard. 0-2. First the knee, then the groin, then the ankle, and then of course the Achilles tendon as well. All the left leg, the back leg, the plant leg. Where does he show up in the Phillies list of all-time players? He's on most of those lists, Chris. They had Jim Thome here. They traded Thome to make room for Ryan Howard. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Talk about another moment that we remember here, Chris. Remember when Ken Griffey Jr. was going for his 500th home run. Jim Thome was going for his 400th home run. We came here for a 1-game makeup game. Jr. never got his 500th. He didn't play, but Thome picked up his 400th. That's hit down to second, right into the shift. And that'll take care of the Phillies. Base hit from Utley, nothing to show for it. Marlon Byrd will lead it off when we return.
Marlon Byrd will lead off on the day that he was drafted 16 years ago by this very Phillies team. You check out our Lowe's Never Stop Improving 1999 MLB draft. Look at the players drafted in that draft. Josh Hamilton drafted by Tampa Bay originally. Beckett, Zito, Phillips in the 2nd round. Ludwig, and you go clear down to Albert Pujols, picked 402nd that year. Marlon Byrd, a 10th round pick. George and Chris, I talked to Brandon Phillips, who has a very unique draft day story. As you know, he was a football and basketball player as well. In fact, he admittedly said he knew nothing about Major League Baseball. Didn't even hardly know the teams. On draft day, he knows the camera's on him. On draft day, he was with his friends at a go-kart track. He got a call and said, hey, you were drafted. Well, who was I drafted by? The Montreal Expos. He said, well, who the heck are the Montreal Expos? I said, well, that's a major league team. He thought that it was like the NBA or NFL draft, that when you're drafted into baseball, you go right to the big leagues. He got a call a day later from someone in the minor leagues of the Expos, and they told him he was going to Jupiter. He said, well, that's a planet. What are you talking about? No, Jupiter, Florida. You're going to the rookie league. He didn't realize that you had to work your way up in baseball.
Byrd sends this one down the right field line, and that's going to clunk off the top of the wall, and he'll be in with a 2-base hit. He was looking, he thought it was gone. Good story, JD, and it's even better the way Brandon tells it, isn't it?
I was laughing. I had to double check with him. Okay, you serious? Because you really didn't know who the Montreal Expos were? He said, no, I had no idea. But he went home and he had someone look up the Expos roster. And at the time he was a shortstop, and I think it was Cabrera. And he said, you know what, I'm going to take Cabrera's position right away. He thought he was going right to the show.
Take a look where that caromed, Chris. Off the screen that faces right by the foul pole. Missed going out by about a foot.
Yeah, I saw that, you know, when they exchanged the managers, exchanged cards before the game with the umpires, that the umpire behind the plate, Alfonso Marquez, his responsibility to name up some ground rules. And I think that was one of the ones that they covered. It's got to go over that fence to be a home run. And Brian wanted to make sure that they didn't see it enough that they would want to take a review of it.
So Bird's at second. Here's Cozart. Right down the middle for a strike. Zach, fly ball to left, first time up. "16 years ago, as Jim mentioned, that Marlon Byrd signed, drafted by the Phillies. Many fond memories of his first 4 years in the major leagues here. Made his debut in 2002 as a September call-up. Line to right. Over goes Revere. Can he get there? No, it's going to be 2 hops to the wall. Here comes Bird around third. He'll score, and the Reds play add-on. They lead it 3-1 on the 2-base hit from Zach Cozart.
Boy, Deuce is wild tonight. VOTTO has one. Phillips has one. Bird and Cozart back-to-back in this inning with doubles. Well, that ball just jumps off the bat of Cozart. He gets it on the sweet spot right there, and Revere went over into the gap like he had a chance to get that ball, realizing too late that it was going all the way to the wall.
Still no one out. Cozart's in scoring position, and here's Johnny Cueto. Will he be bunting? Struck out first time up.
Better believe it.
Misses. They'll throw back to second. Not in time.
It's funny, that list of big leaguers that we saw that were drafted in 1999, the year the Phillips and Bird were taken. Of course, Phillips taken out of high school, Bird taken out of college. Now, those guys are all still playing, but you know, the Reds just finished with the Washington Nationals where Bryce Harper, he was playing T-ball. He was T-ball age. He was probably playing with 12-year-olds, but I mean, he was 6 years old then.
They get it down. Takes a look at third, but will take the out at first. So a successful sacrifice by Cueto. That's his third of the year. And that'll bring up Hamilton. And don't rule out a possible bunt again here. Billy bunted his way on in the second and then was picked off first. See how the Phillies play it. With only one out and the runner at third, they'll pinch the infield into the edge of the grass.
I don't see a bunt coming up here.
Nope.
And the reason being is that O'Sullivan has only one strikeout, and that was Johnny Cueto. How
Squeeze.
about that? What do I know?
They get the run in, and he almost beats it out. Good bunt. And Chris, another example. Just get the bunt down, and that's what Billy has done twice tonight.
Well, he's done it because you said earlier, George, how he's bunted in the batter's box and then runs. So Brian Price not taking any chances. He sees a runner at third base and a guy at the plate who can get the bunt down, and he does it, and he brings the run in. I didn't see it happening because I'm thinking, well, O'Sullivan doesn't have strikeout stuff. He's been getting hit hard on the night. Why not let Hamilton swing the bat and maybe not only drive a run in but get a base hit too? But you know, you take the run that's out there when you can, I guess.
4-1 Reds. Back to the top of the order, Brandon Phillips, who's 2 for 2, a single and a double. Reds struggled through most of the month of May playing add-on. They came back in 2 of the 3 wins against Washington, came back from big deficits. In fact, the last rally was their biggest rally of the year to date to win a ball game, and they're playing add-on here tonight.
This is maybe something for Joel Luckup to look up, our statistician back in Cincinnati. When's the last time the Reds had back-to-back sacrifices to score a run? Sacrifice bunts, that is.
Well, you'll be home this weekend. Lucky can tell you. It's a short road trip. The Reds have only these 3 games here. Then it's home against San Diego. and then the Phillies come to town. That's the kind of road trip you like, 3
right.
games.
You know, it's funny, the Reds have already had 2 3-city road trips, and here's their first 3-day road trip.
Billy's contributed all weekend long and again here today. Larry Boa asked about Hamilton before the game today. He said, tell me about Hamilton. And I said, well, you had Michael Bourne here, and you spent a lot of time nurturing him, and Billy's right where Michael was. The question is, will he be as good as he possibly can be? Still a work in progress. Line to right, Revere is there. Squeezes it, and that'll do it. But the Reds get a double from Bird, a double from Cozart, 3-1, and then the squeeze bunt by Hamilton makes it 4-1. On Fox Sports Ohio, being brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Meyer. Find more for a healthier you at Meyer. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on United States News and World Report's Best Children's Hospital. Great to have you with us. George Grand, Chris Welsh, Billy Hamilton, and Jim Day. JD down in by the Reds dugout. The rain has slackened, just a few sprinkles here or there, and we continue to play through it. Here's Franco, reached on an error in the second and later scored. Down to third, tricky hop, bobbled, and it'll be 2 errors on the night for Frazier. Sometimes these nights happen, huh, Chris?
You know, and the odd thing is that it was the same batter with both errors. Mikel Franco hits a ball first time in the hole between shortstop and third base. This one, Frazier, you can't get an easier hop than that. He just closed his glove too soon. Probably took his eye off of it.
Frazier has been playing Gold Glove caliber third base. Makes his second error of the day. And the leadoff hitters are on again in the 4th. Here's Asche, who doubled in the second to put runners at second and third with no one out. You watch Asche, Chris, and you think back earlier in his career. He kind of reminds you a little bit of Chase Utley at the plate. The way he sets up, the way he addresses the ball, the way he handles himself.
And he's got a nice flat swing, and I think that's the other part that you're talking about. He's got a really good stroke. As we said, he's only 25 years old. You know, other than the 3 old guys they have on this ball club, Utley, you know, Howard, and behind the place, Carlos Ruiz, everybody else is, you know, in their mid-20s or even earlier or younger than that.
slap to left. Here comes Bird. Under it, got it, 1 away. And don't forget, you can be part of the Major League Baseball All-Star action this summer in Cincinnati by visiting T-Mobile All-Star Fan Fest, the world's largest interactive baseball theme park. That's at the Duke Energy Convention Center, the 10th through the 14th of July. What a week it's going to be. Purchase your tickets now at allstargame.com. That's the All-Star Game coming to Cincinnati. Of course, there have been All-Star Games here in Philly as well. Back in the 40s, 43, another in 52. Robin Roberts was part of that one. And in 76, and of course the last one was in 96. 76 was the year that George Foster hit the go-ahead home run as the MVP, and of course the Reds started 5 players that day. Frank goes down at first with the 1 away, and here's Herrera. Bounce to first to plate the run for the Phillies. From third, Franco scored. That was in the second. From the stretch is Cueto.
Hey, you talk about that 76 All-Star game here. Georgia was just a few years later that the Phillies liked some of those Reds players so much they put them on their own roster. Rose, Perez, and Joe Morgan all came back here to Philadelphia that ended up playing. It just seemed there's a photograph of one of the Phillies yearbooks with those guys on the cover, and you walk by it in the media room, hallway, and it just doesn't seem right. I feel like tearing that thing down and throwing it in a dumpster.
I still have a picture of them in spring training, standing with me while I'm interviewing them, asking them, "What are you guys doing here?"
Yeah. what is that P on your uniform?
Sacrilegious. A lot of great history between these two franchises, individually and collectively. The Reds, of course, the oldest franchise in baseball history. The Phillies, a storied history as well. No balls, 2 strikes. Looking for a strikeout is Cueto. Got him. And he knew it. He took a U-turn and headed to the dugout. That's strikeout number 3 for Cueto. 2 of them looking.
Got a little comeback on this fastball right here, and it essentially looks right down the middle. I'm really a little bit surprised at Herrera. The scouting report that I get on him is that he's very aggressive at the plate. And maybe they're working with him to be a little bit more selective. Too much so that time.
We talk about the nurturing and growing process of Billy Hamilton. There's a liner. Can Phillips get it? Yes, he does. Off the bat of Ruiz, Phillips hauls it in, and the runner is left stranded. Here comes Votto. Frazier and Bruce to follow.
After the game for a spectacular Friday fireworks show. It's presented by Kroger and Reds Home Team Products. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets. I'm Jim Day. Joey Votto set to lead off this half inning for Cincinnati, and by now it's become national news. His infamous three-ball walk this past Sunday went unbeknownst to lots of people, lots of broadcasters, and even home plate umpire Paul Emmel. I talked to Joey about this before the game, and he said 2 pitches prior to him going to first base, he looked up at the big board and it said the count read 2-2. So he said it just felt like a walk. So he went down to first base, and he didn't know it at the time until Rob Coughlin, the video coordinator, told him later on in the game, and he says he was as surprised as anyone that he walked on 3 balls and not 4. Just said it felt like a walk, and I don't know, he's got such a good eye at the plate, I guess everyone trusted him. He got away with one.
You know, in the old days when there were no big scoreboards and they didn't have the pitch count on there, the umpires always went by their little hand counter. In this day and age, Chris, I think sometimes they peek up there too.
You know, you see that happen about once every 2 years.
Yep.
Maybe less and less now with so many people. I mean, there are computers that chart the games. I wonder, it probably went into overload and burned the whole mainframe down. Of course, there probably aren't such things as mainframes anymore.
2 balls, 1 strike to Votto, who's 2 for 2. A double and a single, couple of runs batted in. That's a big swing and a miss. Hey, how about that story of the lady who brought in the old computer for the recycling out in California? It's worth $200,000. She just dumped it off. It was one of the original computers ever done.
Who would have thought?
They're looking for it. At least they say they're looking for it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Check swing. He may beat this out. Charging is Galvis. The flip. Yes, says Dan Bellino. They got him by half a step.
They did get him by a half a step, but a little cheat move down there by Ryan Howard. One thing that he does very well down there is leaves the bag at just about the same time the ball gets in his glove. And it gives the umpire the impression that the batter's out. Watch him kind of coming off the bag right there. Now, he did hold on to it long enough, but that's the old Keith Hernandez move.
I was just going to say, who's the best? Hernandez.
And he could deke an umpire, into an out call when a guy was clearly safe.
Hey,
like
Pete,
Pete was
Pete was pretty good at that, too.
Was. Well, Pete was just so fidgety he couldn't stay on the back.
1 ball, no strikes to Frazier. Popped up, flied out 0 for 2. That's a 89-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. 1-1. Bruce on deck. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Reds. A run, 3 hits for the Phils. George Grant, Chris Welsh, Jim Day here. Don't forget, coming up after the game, Jeff Pecoro, Brian Giesenslaw will be by as Kent Dreamweaver gets our crew together back in the brand new spanking new studio in Cincinnati to wrap things up. Sullivan now sitting on 60 pitches here into the 5th inning. Another pop-up, short right field. Utley there. 2 away. Time for our T-Mobile game changer. For Jay, 14 games straight he's hit in against the Phillies. An average over 400, included 7 home runs. The streak started back in 2012 in August. So he's had a lot of success against this club, while the Reds have not had much success at all. They are 8-21 since 2006 here in Philadelphia.
He was one guy really in this lineup that was somewhat quiet in that 3-game sweep against the Washington Nationals. Had only 1 hit. Picked up a couple of runs batted in with that double that he hit. Reds overall hit over 320 against the Nationals that weekend, last weekend.
What you saw was a 3-game series where just about everybody contributed.
What he did do, though, is he walked 4 times. So, you know, those walks are up for Bruce this year.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pop back, it'll be out of play.
Well, it's very clear the way the Phillies want to pitch Jay Bruce, and it's not outside. Early in the year, it seemed like that every team that could pitch Jay Bruce away was going to get him out. That was when his batting average was down in the 180s, 170s. And then he started hitting the ball a lot better by staying in. So you make an adjustment, the league makes an adjustment. Now they're trying to pound him in, although they'll go away this time with a breaking ball.
And early in the year, they probably would have shifted on him. They didn't, and he gets a base hit through the normal defensive alignment. This is a Philly team that the last couple of years had shifted on him a lot. So add another game to that hit streak for Jay against the Phillies. It was great before the game today, Chris, wasn't it? Down in the clubhouse, Jay Bruce came up to give a big hello and a hug to Johnny Almaraz. Johnny, of course, signed Johnny Cueto. The Reds starter tonight, was with the Reds for 16 years, then went to Atlanta, now is with the Phillies in the front office. And among the players that he touched, Jay Bruce was one of them, and the biggest is Johnny Cueto.
Well, obviously he signed Johnny Cueto when Cueto was 16 years old. I mean, for the kind of money that you would pay a 45-round draft pick. I mean, I've heard different numbers, but I think the number was somewhere around $2,500. As a 16-year-old, they brought him along slowly. I remember for years and years, Johnny Almaraz would always say, hey, you wait for this guy, Johnny Cueto. He's really going to be something. You talk about return on your investment.
Pena 0 for 2, fly ball out and a ground out. 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Reds lead at 4-1. High in the air to left. ASCHE there. He's got it. That'll do it. Reds strand the base runner. They still lead it 4-1. To the bottom of 5 we go. O'Sullivan due up. And on Monday the 8th, Alex Morgan leads the United States women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their 3rd World Cup title. Only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox and Fox Sports 1 beginning this Saturday. Big news in soccer today, of course. Sepp Blatter, the president of FIFA, resigned this on the heels of the numerous arrests that were tied to bribery throughout not just the last awarding series of sites, but going back 10 to 15 years. So the organization that has about $1 billion in the bank is going to have an interesting year or so to try to unravel everything. O'Sullivan dribbles one back to Cueto. He'll take care of it. Sean's retired. He's 0 for 2, 1 out here in the 5th. Don't forget, follow each and every Reds game here on Fox Sports Ohio. Make sure to stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda, for a complete recap and interviews from the locker room. Great to have you with us down in the truck. Josh Hall, our producer. Brian Hunneman, our director. Matt Sigafus dialing up some highlights. Lauren White giving us the graphic view of tonight's ball game. Always great to see the crew here in Philadelphia, Chris. We've been coming here a lot of years, and it's great to see everybody, and they always treat us so well here.
They look great, too.
Especially keeping you
in
check, and with crab cakes and hot dogs and ice cream.
Well, you know, the food here in Philly is really good. Get that East Coast seafood, crab cakes galore.
Broken bat, sliced to Frazier. He'll handle this one and get an out. Revere is retired. He's 0 for 3.
Now, the Phillies have a number of left-handers in the lineup against Johnny Cueto tonight. Here's a saw job. You talked it earlier, George. How do you like to break the bat the best? In on the hands or out on the out on the tip? I think Johnny likes it inside too, right there. But here are the splits against Johnny Cueto. You see the left-handers are not even hitting as well as right-handers. And the reason for that is when Johnny Alvarez signed Johnny Cueto back at age 16, he got into his head and said, the second pitch you throw after a fastball has got to be a changeup. And Johnny came through the Red system really mastering his changeup before he started throwing, his variety of breaking pitches. And yeah, his slider is very good, and a .235 batting average against is a really good one. That's what right-handers are hitting against him. But it's the effect of that combo of fastball and changeup that makes him so effective against lefties.
No balls, 1 strike to Freddie Galvis. Popped up in the infield. Who's going to take charge of this one? Cozart will. He's got it. That's an easy inning. Only 78 pitches, an 8-pitch inning for Johnny Be Good. Marlon Byrd to the bat rack.
The Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
You come to Great American Ballpark, you're entertained by our great mascots, and here, Chris, same story, the Philly Fanatics serenading the umpires. There have been some confrontational serenades, and there have also been some funny ones. Here's a good one. Bruce Dreckman's, he's stoic, isn't he?
Bruce is playing a good straight man there.
Great moments, great memories. That's why you don't bring your phone to the ballpark. You just watch what's going on. Here's Marlon Byrd.
Well, what if you want a video, you know, the interaction between umpire and mascot?
He didn't crack a smile. Good
He's
job,
still trying
Bruce.
to get those feathers out of his mouth, those green feathers.
Marlon flied to right and then hit one about a foot from the top of the fence in right for a double.
Well, Marlon knows this ballpark. He knows the Phillies very well. He has not been with the Phillies just once last year, but in the very beginning of his career, broke in with the Phillies back in 2002 after being drafted by the Phillies in 1999. Played right up through their system, Batavia, Piedmont, Reading, where they still have the Reading Fightin' Phils. Scranton, and then made his major league debut in 2002.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That got his hand, so marching down to first will be Marlon Byrd. You say the Fightin' Phils, Chris, brings back memories, doesn't it, of Harry Callis, the great broadcaster here in Philadelphia. He coined that phrase many, many years ago. We've been blessed with Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall for those so many great years. Take another look, got him right on the inside of the right wrist, so he'll march down to first. And while we had Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall, here they had Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn. Entertaining, to say the least.
Harry and Whitey.
Yep. Richie, of course, a Philly Hall of Famer. Short lead for Byrd down at first. Here's Cozart, who doubled in a run last time up. Lined in the left center field. That'll drop. Byrd will stop at second. And the Reds have the first 2 batters on here in the 6th. Now you talk about Richie Ashburn, and one of those numbers that's been retired. His number retired here, along with the likes of Steve Carlton and Mike Schmidt. Richie. He, of course, was one of the first expansion draft selectees of the New York Mets. Jim Bunning, big fan of yours, and there's Schmitty, Mike Schmidt. He's still active with the organization now. In fact, Jim Bunning went to the other St. X, and he always used to kid you about that, right?
Well, he went to the St. X downtown, Jim Bunning did, and you know, even as important as he was when I was originally drafted, he called my house to wish me good luck, and I'll never forget that. What a great man, Jim Bunning.
39 grandchildren and counting for Big Jim. Now Sullivan trailing 4-1, and they'll have a sermon on the mound. The manager here, of course, is Ryan Sandberg. The pitching coach is Bobby McClure. McClure, probably one of the best left-handed pickoff moves in baseball history, and I think this is more of a discussion save for Alfonso Marquez.
Well, and it also could be a little delay action to try to get that bullpen that you're taking a look at right now to get loosened up. They just began to throw here. I mean, very quickly, Byrd gets hit by a pitch. Cozart hits it early in the count for a base hit. And, you know, I think Ryan Sandberg is worried about this ball game really getting out of reach.
4 runs, 9 hits now for the Reds. Here's Cueto, sacrificed successfully last time up. In the 4th, Byrd doubled. Cozart doubled him in, and then Cueto sacrificed, and then Hamilton right behind him, the sacrifice squeeze bunt, and the Reds added 2 runs in the inning.
Well, the good news for the Reds here, you have a little bit of speed down at second base with Byrd. So many times what happens is that you've got a catcher on second base in this situation, and it's a forced play at third. And it's a lot easier for the defense to get that lead man. But with Byrd out there, heady base runner, still has pretty good speed. You know, Cueto, all he has to do is get that ball down the third base line. He's going to have a successful bunt, which may lead to a few more insurance runs.
1 ball, 1 strike is the pitch you want to get it down on. Gets it down. And they will not get it. Yes, they will. Riggleman turns and looks immediately to the bench to see if the Reds might challenge. Bird's standing there. He's not moving.
He looked like he made, if he didn't beat it, he made it awfully close. I mean, it took forever to Sean O'Sullivan field this ball and turn and then get rid of it. Well, I think they're going to get a call from Rob Kaufman that says, hey, Kaufman will probably say, hey, go ahead and no, they're not going to review it after all.
Now his foot went over the bag and then came down on top of the bag. So they won't challenge. An unsuccessful sacrifice attempt by Cueto. And back to Billy Hamilton.
Again, the only thing you really have to do as a hitter there is to bunt it hard enough to get over this area. Get down to get it past the pitcher, and you've got yourself a sacrifice.
So still first and second. Now one out. Here's Hamilton. Reached on a bunt hit in the second and sacrificed in the fourth. Big swing and a miss. Take one more look. You know, it looks like he's spreading his arms safe, and then he pulled it.
That's what I see on the Expo right there, is if Brewster Exman, the umpire, began a safe call and then halfway decided to go out.
They'll get one at second, and that's all. They'll have no chance for Hamilton at first. So it's, take a look at Bruce Dreckman and watch his arms. Are they splitting to call safe, and then he calls out? Take a look. No, he's south. Cross between safe and out, south. Can you do that move?
Did he learn that at the Ed Brinkman School of umpiring down there?
Well, with first and third and top of the order, Phillips due up, that'll be it. Out comes Ryan Sandberg. O'Sullivan's night is done. And there'll be a pitching change. While the pitching change takes place, it's time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Catch up with former Reds player and manager Ray Knight. Pete Rose talks about the importance of scouting reports, and two Reds make a special visit to a local high school. Jeff Picoro, Doug Flynn host another all-new Reds Weekly tomorrow at 6 before Reds Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. That's must-see TV. Reds Weekly every week, debuting on Wednesday night. Here's the new pitcher, Chris, Justin DeFreitas.
DeFreitas now 27 years old. He's been with the Phillies on and off for 5 different seasons, but it's pretty much of a workhorse. Near 60 appearances each of the last 2 years. And he's having another pretty good year. Good opponent batting average, inflated earned run average, but for relievers, that really doesn't mean much.
From the stretch with first and third, we'll see if Hamilton will be off and running. He is. There'll be no throw, and it's a stolen base for Billy, his 22nd of the year.
Well, Billy had to see where the defense was right there. Neither Utley nor the shortstop Freddie Galvis was anywhere near the bag. And they were just going to give it up, it looked like, right away. With 2 outs, they're going to give it up to Hamilton and hope that the pitcher gets the batter.
Here's Brandon. He's been productive. Single, scored a run in the first, double, scored a run in the third, and lined to right his last time up. Second and third, 2 out there for the Reds with 2 outs. Now, the good news for the Phillies in their bullpen is that their earned run average has been very respectable. They've been in the middle of the pack. They're about a 3.5 earned run average. The bad news is, and this is really where you make your living and you hold your pride as a relief corps, they have allowed half of their inherited runners to score. 23 of the 46 inherited runners that the bullpen has inherited have scored. That's horrible.
Well, overall, that stat is very bad. There's no question about it. And so is that. And they really thought that the bullpen was going to be one of the strengths of this ball club. So it turned out that right now it's one of the weaknesses.
1 ball, 2 strikes, trying to strand 2 of those right here with Phillips at the plate. Fouled off by Brandon.
You know, that stranded runner stat, though, can be a little misleading because you really never know what the situation is. I mean, if it's what's difference between coming in bases loaded and nobody out versus bases loaded and 2 out. And the strand rate actually for Sean O'Sullivan this year is very good. But overall, the strand rate for the bullpen has not been so hot.
Here's the 1-2 again from DeFreitas. You know, there are 2 sides to that. One is the numerical side. The other part of it, and you've been a bullpenner, Chris, for a lot of your career. That's really where you impress your teammates.
Well, it is, because you want to save those earned run averages for the starters. And I was pretty good at gassing them in. Of course, that happened to me as a starter, too. But no, I mean, I'm actually joking. But yeah, it's something it's kind of a badge of honor that you want to go into your teammate who's a starter and say, hey, I saved you a couple of earnings out there. And a lot of times in a situation like this, it's a 3-run game. If DeFreitas is able to get out of this inning with no more runs, this is still a tight ball game from the Phillies standpoint. You get a couple of runs in right here, you're looking down, you know, at seeing Aroldis Chapman in the 9th inning. It's just not a good feeling if you're LeBron Sandberg.
Phillips, one of 3 Reds around the 300 mark with runners in scoring position. He, Votto, and Cozart. In the dirt, good block by Ruiz. The 6-1 number looks a whole lot different than a 4-1 number if DeFreitas can prevent the Reds from scoring here. On the other hand, if Phillips can deliver a base hit, Dusty Baker always called it slam range. Get out of slam range, meaning a grand slam can't catch it. DeFreitas to the stretch. Off the end of the bat, carrying to the warning track, looking up at the wall. There to haul it in is Asche. He just didn't get all of it, but still gave it a long ride into the corner. The Reds will strand a pair, still lead at 4-1. Cueto, Chris, 3 strikeouts through 5 innings. He's welcome sight to be back in the rotation for the Reds for the first time since the 19th of May.
Well, you know, you give him a little bit of a rest. He certainly doesn't look rusty out there. 13 days off between starts for Johnny Cueto. Part of that was nursing a sore elbow. The other part of it was getting a couple of bullpens in, making sure that he was strong. And I mean, the bottom line for Cueto is not the 3 strikeouts, it's the 1 run that he's given up in the first 5 innings. Another outstanding outing so far.
Here's Chase Utley. Reached on a bunt hit against the shift, first time up. Single to left against the shift, second time up. And this time the Reds do not overshift against him. And he lines one into the right field corner, but foul. Well, the Reds have reacted after the 2 hits by Utley against the shift by not shifting this time. Didn't miss by much. 2 balls, 1 strike. After the knee and health difficulties he had 2 years ago, last year was a bounce back year. He hit .270. This year he struggled. This one hit pretty good to right. Goose looking up. That's going to be out of here. Utley's 4th homer of the year, and he's 3 for 3. And against Cueto now in his career, he's 9 for 21.
Well, we showed you the number early on, what left-handers are hitting off Johnny Cueto this year. They're in the 100s. So how do you explain to me how Utley hits Johnny Cueto? I mean, Utley's been a good hitter his whole career, no doubt about it. I mean, one of the best around. But I mean, to hit nearly 500 off of Johnny Cueto, incomprehensible.
Jammed him with a fastball. Howard is retired. First out of the 6th inning. Ryan is 0 for 3. He'd like to have that pitch back, huh?
You know, it's funny. Tony Gwynn once told me, and I was kidding around with him, I said, you ever get the feeling that you will the pitcher to make a mistake and throw it exactly where you're looking? And he laughed at me. He said, yeah, I do. And I'm wondering if that happens from time to time with certain hitters, where Utley is so certain he's going to get a pitch to hit. He's 3 for 3, laid down a perfect bunt, a line drive to left, and then one into the seats.
Was there one guy you felt that way against that you faced?
There was a bunch of them, but I mean, I think Cal Ripken was that guy that it didn't make any difference. I might as well just lay it up there on a tee. At least I have a chance to get behind the mound and hide.
There are some hitters that set up pitchers, not pitchers that set up hitters, huh?
I think they do it mentally as much as anything else.
Sure. Here's Franco, reaches on an error twice, and this time he bangs one past Frazier. He'll round first, go to second. It's a double. He's on for the 3rd time tonight, twice via an error, and now this double.
Hey, pretty good-looking young hitter here. He's having a good night of it. He's only 22 years old. Maikel Franco. He said 2 balls down there to third base that errors are made by Frazier. That time he doesn't give Todd a chance to get over there.
So now we talked about those 2 runners in scoring position, that 6-1 looked different than 4-run. Now you got the tying run coming to the plate. Here's ASCHE. He doubled and flied out. Cueto to the stretch. Change up out in front. Now you mentioned Johnny Alvarez and his mentoring of Cueto early in his career. And if there are 2 people that really herded Johnny through those early years, here's Cueto to the stretch with the 0-1. Look out. Johnny was one, and the other, and continues to be today, Mario Soto. Mario was his confidant. Mario was a man who taught him how to prepare in the offseason. And you can add Dusty Baker to that list too, when he took over as manager, telling Johnny what he had to do to learn how to win.
Well, Mario continues to be that guy in the Reds organization for a number of the pitchers that are coming up through the minor leagues right now. I mean, there are, some coaches that are more valuable than others, just like there are some players that are more valuable than others, and Soto is in that category right there that you just love to have him in the organization, because you're going to have to replace Johnny Cueto someday. You don't know when, but someday you will.
And Mario Soto was a guy who did it with a fastball and a changeup. That was it. And he was one of the most dominant pitchers of his era with just those two pitches.
Well, and not only in his era, but he understands it well, and he's become such a good communicator. You know, he speaks English like he was raised in the United States, and of course he speaks Spanish, and he can relate to those players. It's a good combination for the Reds. And
he's idolized by athletes throughout the Spanish-speaking community. And you know, we talk about athletes being English-speaking or Spanish-speaking, but there is a difference. I mean, Dominican players are one Spanish-speaking group. Puerto Rican players are another. Venezuelan players, Mexican players. There are very few coaches that can communicate with Spanish-speaking players from every country, and Mario can.
Americans seem to tend to lump them all together,
and
it's not right.
2-2. Changeup way out in front. He gets ASCHE, who went to school with that one.
Yeah, you're right. He went to Johnny Cueto pitching school right here, because Cueto came down and away, then he came up and in on a couple of fastballs. Numbers 2 and 5 up here were fastballs. And then he went down with that changeup, number 6. And after seeing something as hard as you can up around your eyeballs and then take 10 miles an hour off of it, there's just no way to. This is what that, in a nutshell, is what makes Johnny Cueto as good as he is.
Here's Herrera. Bounced to first and knocked in a run, and then struck out looking. Runner still at second. Bounce behind second. Cozart gobbles it up and got him. So they strand the runner. The home run by Utley brings the Phils closer. It's a 4-2 game. Here comes Joey Votto when we return.
Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day. Let's check out a little this date in Reds history, because back in 1989 it was one for the ages for Eric Davis. In fact, it has stood the test of time. Eric Davis versus the San Diego Padres started his night off on that night with a single. Then the long ball at Riverfront Stadium. Then a gap job for a double. So ED a triple away from the infamous cycle. And of course, ED fashion, another gap job, and his speed would indeed get him to third base. It's the last time a Reds player has had or has hit for the cycle. And for the teams that have had a player hit for the cycle, it's the longest stretch between players doing that of any franchise. There are two franchises that have not had a player hit for the cycle. That would be the Padres and the Marlins. But Eric Davis, what a gift he was to watch.
And happy birthday to ED this past week, too. What an electrifying player, Chris. You know, you mentioned watching Mario Soto in spring training. It's been great to watch Eric Davis worked with Billy Hamilton too, talking about the concept of being a great center fielder. How do you maximize your defensive capabilities, and how do you maximize your speed too? Eric had a great line when I asked him a couple of years ago about Billy. He said, the one thing I try to tell him is bunting is part of your game, but don't make it your only part of your game. You got to be bigger than that.
Good advice. I think any advice you get from Eric Davis,
amen,
is good advice.
He, of course, will be here, part of the All-Star festivities. Here's the lefty Diekman to face Joey Votto, Frazier, and Bruce to follow. Votto 2 for 3. Doubled, knocked in a run in the first. Singled, knocked in a run in the third, and bounced to short in the fifth.
The guy's a hard thrower. And it really defies that you can compute, you can throw 96, 97 miles an hour and have those kind of numbers.
And he's here to face Votto and then Bruce in the inning. The pitcher spot is due up second in the 7th inning for the Phils. So you figure it's a 1-inning encounter for him. Four runs, 9 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Phils.
Wow.
Waves at that. That's some giddy up, huh?
Well, last year he had a great year. Diekman did 73 games, 71 innings, and he struck out 100 batters. I mean, he might be about as close as you come to roll as Chapman, but you can see the difference between throwing 96 or 97 and then 102 like Chapman. I mean, 96, 97 is really hard. A lot of guys can't catch up to it, but 102? That's what makes him the freak.
This Frazier hit hard down to short, right under the glove of Galvis. An error on the shortstop. The error, the 36th of the year for the Phillies. So the Reds will have a base runner with 1 out.
Well, you can see that coming. I mean, he did the best he could to get out of the way of this ball and make sure that he was going to field it off to the side. No way you're going to get those shins in front of it, right? I don't think he learned that from Larry Boa.
No. He'll hear something from Larry, though, after the game.
He's probably hearing it right now.
Yep.
Boy, steam coming out of those ears.
Get in front of that, meat. Here's Bruce. Walked. Bounced out into a force play and singled to right.
The other thing that Diekman does, and it's hard to see it from the angle that we're showing you, but he steps essentially towards the Phillies dugout. And so when he lets that ball loose, it looks like it's coming. If you're a lefty, it looks like it's starting out from behind your ear.
You know, in this day and age, with the schedule the way it is, Reds and Phillies play each other only twice. 3 games here and 3 games there at Cincinnati. And in this particular case, it comes within a week, and you don't see him the rest of the year. So you can see video all you want, but you don't get that feeling until you actually see somebody on the mound. Ripped again by Bruce into right, a base hit. Stopping at second will be Frazier. So Jay has another multi-hit game. 2 for 3 and a walk, and the Reds have something cooking again here in the 7th.
Well, that's hanging right in there for Bruce that time. I mean, did not give up an inch. Ball sounded great coming off his bat.
Hit himself in the foot with his bat and stumbled out of the box, but he's okay, and he's down at first. So first and second, the error and the base hit, and here's Pena, 0 for 3. Reds trying to play add-on, leading at 4-2 here in the 7th. And hold on, here comes Bob McClure. There's the veteran pitching coach. McClure, of course, member of the Kansas City Royals in the 80s, part of the Milwaukee team that went to the World Series. Veteran pitching coach in Kansas City, Boston, and also in Colorado. Well, what a pickoff move he had.
Well, you're not kidding about that.
Man.
He's had that mustache for a long time, too, hasn't he?
Did you give it to him?
No. He had it before me.
Hey, George and Chris, another guy that's a staple in spring training. You're talking about Eric Davis. We'd like to give a happy birthday to the great Jim Maloney, probably watching out in Fresno, California. Happy 75th to one of the best Reds pitchers of all time.
Always one of our great thrills when we get to go to San Francisco and he comes and sit with us for a couple of innings.
Better believe it. Or see him during fantasy camp or the Reds Fest.
We were in the coach's room for the Phils before the game tonight, and here's Pena taking strike one, and Larry Boa was bemoaning the fact that pitchers don't throw 120 pitches anymore in a game. You're out of there at 104 or 103. Here's Diekman to the stretch to Pena. He holds on it. That's a ball. And he turned and he looked at us and said, how many pitches did Maloney throw when he threw his no-hitter? It was like 176. That's a bygone era, huh? Robin Roberts.
Yeah, and you wonder what's changed so much.
Yeah.
How weight training has made these pitchers unable to throw as many pitches as they did before they started doing all the weight training.
Robin Roberts was a great basketball player at Michigan State and really didn't do anything in the winter. Just picked up a baseball, started to play ball in the spring. Just stayed in great shape. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now the other part of this equation for the Phils, as you look at this lefty, we talked earlier about those players that the Phils may trade to get young stars of the future to come back. If they trade Papelbon, this guy's probably the closer. And there's a real possibility that Jonathan might be traded this year, along with Howard, along with Hamels. The Reds will see Cole Hamels tomorrow against Mike Leake. And then they'll see an old friend, Aaron Harang, on Wednesday against Anthony DeSclafani.
Yeah, the 2 best pitchers the Phillies have are coming up after tonight. That's the other reason why tonight's ball game is so important to this Reds team. You got Johnny Cueto on the mound, and you're looking at Harang, 2.0 earned run average, and then Cole Hamels, who always seems to deal against the Reds the next couple of nights.
Christopher Negron has stepped into the on-deck circle. You wonder if Bird's hand might be a little sore after being hit by a pitch. There's a bouncer back to the pitcher. They'll get one at second, on to first. Yes, they'll turn 2. But Pena bounces into the inning-ending double play. The Reds continue to lead this one 4-2, bottom of 7. Reds included. Vote 35 times on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Reds.com. Voting is exclusively online this year, available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote early, vote often, vote Reds today at Reds.com. No longer do you have those punch-out cards at the ballpark. They'd be pretty soggy and wet if you had them here tonight. Started raining earlier today, rained most of the day, right up through to the start of the game. It was raining fairly hard, but the rain has subsided. It's just sprinkling right now. Brennan Bosch takes over in left field, and we'll try to check on the status of Marlon Byrd, but you figure he was hit by a pitch earlier, and that might be the reason why he's exited the game. And taking over Ryan Matthews as Johnny Cueto's night is done, Chris. 92 pitches for Cueto, 6 innings. Your report card on Cueto.
Well, a couple of runs for Cueto. Only one of those runs was an earned run. So good job for Cueto. Keeps his team in the ball game, due to get the win if Matthews and the rest of the bullpen can do the job.
Here's Ryan. Last 5 appearances, has retired the first batter he's faced and has stranded all 3 of his inherited base runners. Picked up this past month by the Reds to solidify the bullpen from the right side. Ryan, of course, familiar with the Phillies because he pitched against them in the division when he was in Washington. Cueto, 6 innings. Allowed the 5 hits. That's a swing and a fly ball down the left field line in the seats and foul. For Cueto, the 2 runs he allowed in the second inning, an error by Frazier at third, allow Franco to reach. ASCHE double to put runners at second and third, and a ground out by Herrera plated the first run. And then Chase Utley clubbed a homer to lead off the 6th. Those are the 2 runs that Johnny Cueto allowed. 5 hits. He did strike out 4. And for the first time since the 19th of May, back on the mound, and pretty solid performance. 92 pitches, 63 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right back to Ryan. Chris, you had a chance to watch Ryan Matthews now for a couple of weeks. There was a point in time when he was automatic out of the bullpen early in his career. He suffered a hand injury at his own expense. He slammed in frustration his hand against the wall and had a tough time coming back from that. Do you see flashes of what you saw before?
Well, you hope so, George. Sinker ball pitcher, good slider, has an off-speed pitch as well. But you were right about him facing Philadelphia Phillies a lot. The only team he's had more experience against than the Phillies have been the Miami Marlins. And he's done really well against the Phillies in his career. 15 games, a 1.1 earned run average. So that may be a factor as to why he's in there right now. Of course, this is the Phillies ball club that probably doesn't resemble much of what Matthews has seen when he's come through here.
Here's Andres Blanco, pinch hits in the 9th spot in the order. Overall 270. Blanco, one of 2 switch hitters on the bench, along with Cesar Hernandez.
It's definitely not your Philadelphia, your dad's Philadelphia Phillies.
No.
I mean, this is what rebuilding looks like, and when you hold on to some of those contracts a little longer than maybe you even wanted to, but maybe they were unmovable because your guys get injured.
Popped up. Does Frazier have room? Edge of the dugout.
I mean, they've been talking about trading Ryan Howard for years, yet he signed through next year, and I mean that huge money. Utley signed. You know, of course, they had Cliff Lee, and then they've got Cole Hamels. All pieces that they'd like to turn over, but the question is, when do you turn them over? What do you expect to get in return? And when is the right time to pull the trigger on a deal like that?
It's an imprecise science, and those that are successful usually do it sooner rather than later. Look out. Wow. That's a strikeout and a head for the dugout.
Hey, it's Ryan Sandberg still has pretty quick reactions.
He picked it up in turn 2.
probably saying if you're going to throw the bat, throw it in the other dugout.
Smart managers are behind the screen, right? 2 away. Here's Ben Revere back top of the order. Bounce right back to Matthews. He'll take care of 2 ground balls in the inning. That's an easy 1-2-3, a 9-pitch inning. Reds going into the 8th. Lead at 4-2. Smiling recap on this one if the Reds can hold on to their lead 4-2, and we try to keep the pressure on Chris Welch on Bow Tie Tuesday to come up with another victory. 6-1 in Bow Tie Tuesdays this season. New pitcher Luis Garcia for the Phillies. O'Sullivan started. Sean O'Sullivan went 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs. DeFreitas a third of an inning, Diekman an inning, and here's Garcia as we go to the 8th. Another big, tall delivery. Leading it off will be Brennan Bosch, who came in to play left field for Marlon Byrd last inning. Bosch in at 146. This is his 25th game of the season. Sky high fly ball to right. Who's going to get there? Utley backtracking. Here comes Revere, and he'll take charge. Hey, mark it down this Friday, June the 5th. Cheer on the Reds when they take on the Padres. Plus, stick around after the game for a great Fireworks Friday show presented by Kroger and Reds Home Team Products. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or reds.com/tickets. Best fireworks in baseball. That'll be this Friday at the new ballpark by the river. One away. Here's Cozart. Zach flied to left first time up, doubled in Byrd, who had doubled before him in the 4th, and singled in the 6th inning. So 2 for 3, another multi-hit game for the Red shortstop. this first half of the season, and we've talked often about the junctures of the year. We talked early on that the Reds' month of April was going to be tough for those 22 straight against the Central, and it was tough for the Reds. They got through that at just about 500. May, they stumbled with problems with starting pitching and problems with offense. And here in June, Chris, it's a key part of the season for the Reds. They play the Phillies twice. They've got San Diego coming up with that homestand that starts this Friday. Then they've got 3 against the Cubs. They play the Tigers for 4 games. Then Miami for 3, Pittsburgh, and the Mets. Cozart retired. So if you're going to get back into it, this month of June is a critical month.
Well, when you play teams in your own division, you beat them above you, and you can always move up the ladder that way. I thought it was very interesting that the Reds lose, and they didn't look very good doing it, lose to the Colorado Rockies, and then come out and sweep the Washington Nationals. I mean, baseball is just so unpredictable. When balls begin to fall in for you, you get good starting pitching. Your relief corps comes up with some good innings. It just makes an entire difference in the attitude in the clubhouse, too. I mean, during that losing streak, man, that clubhouse was not a fun place to even go down and visit. It's a little different now.
Here's Skip Schumacher, pinch hitting in the pitcher's spot, 8th spot in the lineup with Hamilton on deck. Schumacher's been the Reds' best and most reliable pinch hitter in the early going of the season. Rain starting to pick up again a little bit more as we hit the 8th inning. He and Corey Hart lead the National League with 7 pinch hits. That's a strike. Jumbo Diaz starting to loosen in the Reds bullpen. Garcia to the stretch. Misses there, 3-1. And takes a walk. So a good at bat by Schumacher. He's on with 2 outs, and here comes Billy Hamilton. Those guys are never far apart, are they? Joey Votto and Jay Bruce, talking baseball, talking about life. They've been joined from a baseball perspective and a life perspective since they were both in the minor leagues. Bounce right back off the glove of Garcia, and they'll throw out Hamilton. So the Reds get a base runner, nothing to show for it. To the bottom of 8 we go. Reds by 2. to keep the win streak alive in the first inning. Phillips single, Votto doubled him in. 1-0 Cincinnati in the first. The Reds made it 2-1 in the third when Votto followed a Phillips double with a single to make it 2-1. Zach Cozart chimed in the fourth inning after a Marlon Byrd two-base hit. His double to right center field made it 3-1 Cincinnati. And then a great bunt by Billy Hamilton, a squeeze bunt, plates the Reds' fourth run. They led it 4-1. The big swing for the Phillies came from Chase Utley. Utley's home run, his fourth of the year, made it 4-2. That's where we stand. And Utley now 9 for 21 in his career against Johnny Cueto. Oh, by the way, Johnny outstanding on this night. Cueto finished the night with 92 pitches in 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, and the smiling side of the scoreboard right now shows the Reds 4 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors, and the Phillies 2-5-1. Up to the bullpen to hold it, Chris.
Well, you're right, and this part of the bullpen is the big guy, Jumbo Diaz. Diaz, after 12 years in the minor leagues, now tonight makes his 59th appearance as a major leaguer. 23 of them this year now. And this is what Brian Price is looking for, because with Johnny Cueto, sometimes you get more than 6 innings. But with a lot of starters, they're done after 6. And if you leave with a lead, you want a shut down bullpen to shorten the game. You have that with Aroldis Chapman, and I think that Brian Price is still trying to figure out exactly what combination to use here for 7th and 8th innings so that you can turn the ball over to your closer.
And that's the way you started with strike one. When the Reds have gotten into trouble in the bullpen, it's been ball one that's got them into trouble more often than not.
You're right.
Freddie Galvis, 0 for 3, 2 pop-ups and a ground out. Speedy shortstop tries to flip it to left, can't do it. He's in an 0-2 hole.
Really got off to a very good start to the season, did Galvis. He was hitting way up into 300s for a while, and he's really tailed off, so much so that he got a couple of days off over the weekend to try to get his act back together.
Pena holds it there, doesn't get the call, and it's 1-2.
That's a good setup pitch, though, because that four-seamer that he throws right underneath his elbows gives you one perspective when you see the ball that close. Then you go down and away with something like that splitter or a little fastball. They're going to come back in again. Ouch.
Hitting with a wet sporting news, huh? Popped up to Phillips, 1 away.
This is getting in your kitchen right here.
No, 1 away for Jumbo, and here comes the Phillies second baseman, Chase Utley. We talked often about April on how the Reds bullpen stumbled, especially late in games, but what a difference May made.
Especially to those guys that are responsible about pitching in games in which you're winning. Every team has 2 types of relievers. Games you pitch some guys in games you're losing, and other guys in games you're winning. And you want those guys in the games you're winning to be the bridge to Chapman. And if you start giving it up in the 7th and the 8th inning, it goes down as a blown save. Maybe not on Chapman's record, but still, that's what the Reds struggled early in April, especially, as they went through a whole rotation of different types of pitchers and different names that would be the bridge to Chapman.
Sounds like a good novel, The Bridge to Chapman.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of a good novel, I'm reading a really good one right now called The Last at Bat, a baseball book actually about a baseball player who played for the Reds, a fiction.
This one hit center field pretty good. Back at the warning track is Hamilton, and he'll haul it in. Oh, maybe the best night of the year for Chase Utley. A single, a homer, and that solidly hit ball about 390 feet away in center field, but fortunately for the Reds, the speedy Hamilton hauls it in.
Actually, that book, The Last at Bat, George, is being made into a movie, and they're looking for actors who are baseball players anywhere between the ages of, I think, 8 and 24.
So you just missed the cutoff.
I just missed it by a couple of months, but And they're going to have tryouts in Cincinnati to see if you can be in a baseball movie.
2 away. Here's Howard. Rip over his Bruce. He can't get it. It's under his glove all the way to the wall. Going into second is Ryan Howard, so the tying run will come to the plate here in the 8th. Now we remember, unfortunately, the 2010 playoff game when Jay Bruce lost a game in the lights here. This may have been a repeat of that.
Ryan Howard actually stops coming out of the batter's box. Because he's so sure that Jay Bruce has this ball right there. And I guarantee you're right on the button there, George. He lost that ball in the lights.
It's going to be scored a double. Bruce came over. That's a ball that normally he just puts in his pocket. But look at he shies away from it, trying to judge between the lights and the rain coming down to get it at an angle, and it goes under his glove. So Howard's sitting at second. And here's Franco. Been on base 3 times, twice via an error, once on a double. The Phillies do not opt to run for Howard here in the 8th inning. Reds with 2 outs in the inning. Step shallow in center, and Billy Hamilton always plays shallow in center. Bosch a step shallow in left. So on a base hit, each of these outfielders have a chance to throw out the runner at the plate if they send him. And it's 2-0.
By the way, George, just a little note about that scoring decision to make that a double. It has to go down as a double according to the rule book that scorers are given. If you lose a ball in the lights or you lose it in the sun, cannot be an error.
Breaking ball in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. The light stanchions here are different than a lot of ballparks. There are 2 in the outfield, only 2 in the outfield, and the other ones are congregated behind home plate. This one drilled to left. If it's fair, it's gone. It's curving. It is gone. One swing of the bat, and it's a new ball game. We're tied at 4.
Now, looked like a breaking ball, and he threw a good one on a 2-0 count. He comes right back with a hanger. And he leaves it right on the inner part of the plate, right where Maikel Franco just leaves, and that ball is launched. Boy.
First time in 6 games the Reds bullpen has given up a run, and there are 2 dramatic runs here in the 8th. New game, we're tied at 4.
First time in about 6 games the Phillies have made this much, or the Philly fans have had a reason to make this much noise.
Here's ASCHE. Down to Phillips. Smothers it and throws out ASCHE, but the damage done. A double by Howard, lost in the lights, and a homer by Franco, lost in the seats. We're tied at 4. Now with all the info you need for that day's game, Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Hope you're with us tomorrow. Reds Live at 6:30. The game will follow at 7. Mike Leake will get the ball, trying to win his third and lower his ERA after a rough month of May. And Cole Hamels, who's always been a pile of trouble against the Reds, gets the ball for the Phillies.
Hamels coming off a very good outing. Mike Leake hoping to turn it around, but the Reds have tonight on their minds as they've got a tie ball game all of a sudden here going into the 9th inning. Jonathan Papelbon, a closer for the Phillies, will come in here and pitch tonight. And he's been the one consistent part of this Phillies bullpen really since the time that he joined this ball club in 2012. He was an all-star then, 64 games, earned run average always in the low 2s, and this year no different.
Here's Brandon Phillips, who's had a good night for the Reds. Phillips single, double, lined out, and flied out. He scored 2 runs. Singled in the first, scored on a Votto double. Doubled in the third, scored on a Votto single. So he's plated 2 of the Reds' 4 runs. The wind has picked up a little bit and the rain has started to come down a little bit harder. Doesn't make it any easier against this big, tall right-hander. 11 for 11 in save opportunities this year and 13 straight over 2 years. He's the all-time save leader here in Philadelphia and also the all-time save leader for the Red Sox. 0-2. And in a year when the Phillies are talking about getting younger and retooling, Papelbon is one who could certainly enter into the trade picture as we get to the month of July.
No doubt about that, George. 34 years old. Maybe having one of his best years ever.
Strikeout number 1 for Papelbon. Out number 1 here in the 9th inning.
You know, and Jonathan Papelbon is not throwing as hard as he used to. He used to throw an average of almost 95 miles an hour. Now he tops out around 92, maybe 93. But he still has an excellent slider, a great splitter. I imagine that Votto is going to see that splitter a little bit.
Joey fouls it off.
Coming right after him here with an inside fastball. Papelbon has given up 1 home run this year.
The other part of this equation, too, the way he addresses you, he hides the ball well. Turns his back to you, and then all of a sudden, zippo. Here it comes. Votto has faced Papelbon and walked once. On deck is Frazier. Frazier 1 for 1 against the Phillies closer.
There it is.
Bottom drops out, huh?
I mean, you throw with the same arm speed you do a fastball, but it comes in about 10 miles an hour, and then it just, you're right, falls off the table. So you got Votto thinking now. I mean, he's behind on the fastball. He's ahead on the splitter. If you're Papelbon, you throw the pitch that you're most convinced Votto will not leave the yard with.
Fastball in is what he wants. Got him. Two straight strikeouts for Papelbon. Votto 2 for 5. 2 runs batted in.
Great spot right there. Not often do you get to see Joey Votto move out of the strike zone like that. But he was trying to defend against that fastball, and that was just low enough to make him want to swing, but just high enough that he couldn't get the bat on.
Here's Frazier, 0 for 4. Reached on an error his last time up.
Now this guy can hit a fastball.
This is a good matchup right here. And he won't see one there.
If he sees one, it will probably be in the same area where he threw at the bottom, which is up. Frazier likes the ball out over the plate. That's why he chases so many off the dish. And he doesn't have to hit it perfect to hit one out of here either. Guy's putting on a clinic right now.
Now, we've talked about Bryce Harper this past weekend, and Frazier's numbers right there with Josh Donaldson, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nelson Cruz. Most home runs to tie or give his team the lead. Frazier's right there. He's in a hole here, 0-2. They want a fastball away. One and two. Player of the week last week in the National League. Frazier trying to give the Reds a lead here in the ninth. Dribble to the left side, scooping, firing, and in time with the out at first. So the Reds go 1, 2, 3 in the top of 9. To the bottom of 9 we go. We're tied at 4. Brian Price waiting to see if he'll get the key to challenge. He will not challenge. Good scoop, good throw, inning over. Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio has been brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. And don't forget, you can be a part of Major League Baseball's All-Star action by coming out to Great American Ballpark on All-Star Sunday, July the 12th, for an exciting doubleheader. Tickets available now at allstargame.com. Hope you join us for an exciting week of activities in downtown Cincinnati. Here in Philadelphia, 4 runs, 10 hits for the Reds. They had a 4-2 lead going into the 8th inning. Jumbo Diaz gives up a double and a homer. We're tied at 4, and Tony Cingrani's job is to keep it where it is as we go to the bottom of 9. Bottom of the order, due up.
The walks are the one thing that you want to make sure that Cingrani begins to tighten up a little bit. 18 games and 16 walks. Now, he's got the stuff to be able to pitch out of trouble, but you don't want to dig a hole when you're in a tie ball game.
Here's Herrera showing bunt. That's inside for a ball. Herrera tonight grounded out to first. That knocked in a run in the second. Struck out looking and grounded to short. So Johnny Cueto will not get a win on this night. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. His return to the rotation, 92 pitches. He pitched great.
Kind of a same old story for Johnny Cueto. Reds on the verge of really blowing the game open. And you get a team like the Phillies that have struggled so mightily, 7 losses in a row. You get up on them, you know, and take them out of the game. There's no way they're going to battle back. But you keep them within one swing of the bat range like they did, and now you give them new life. It's the last thing you want to do in the first game of a 3-game set.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ryan Sandberg trying to put an end to a 7-game skid. They've lost 10 of 12. Ryan Price, on the other hand, trying to extend a 3-game winning streak. Line, fair ball, into the corner. Rounding first, the speedy Herrera will go to second, and he'll settle for 2. So a leadoff double here in the 9th.
I really don't know whether that was a good bit of hitting or whether the kid was just lucky. I think he was kind of looking that way when he hit the ball that way. Talking about his big high leg kick, his wide stance. He's a young man. He's only 23 years old. They figure somewhere down the road he's going to be an everyday major league player.
All right, here's Ruiz, the catcher. A pretty good bunter, and the Reds are expecting a bunt here. Ruiz tonight struck out, lined out, grounded out. Cingrani did the stretch. Ruiz shows bunt, takes a ball.
Well, Herrera's got good speed. I'm not exactly sure what play the Reds are going to have on, but I imagine that Cingrani's challenge is to make sure that he gets over to the third baseline as quickly as possible so that Frazier can stay home and maybe get that lead runner at third.
Fouled off at the plate. Ruiz hitting 8th in the order. The pitcher spot due up next. Darren Ruff has moved into the on-deck circle. Frazier 5 steps in front of the bag at third. And calling for time is Ruiz at the plate while Cingrani's in his motion.
Well, Brian called for time. I'm sure Cingrani's probably angry at the hitter not knowing that it was Pena that called time. And Cingrani never looked up until he was already in his motion.
Ball and a strike. They get the bunt down. That'll get the runner to third. They'll get an out at first. So now the Reds will have to bring the infield in.
And the
Ruff
outfield
coming to the plate. What do you do strategically? Do you load the bases? Walk 2?
I don't think you load the bases because it's only Cingrani's inability to throw strikes on a consistent basis this year. I don't think you want to put that kind of pressure on him. He's got the kind of fastball, though, that he can pitch his way out of this inning with strikeouts. But he's got to be relaxed to do it, and he's got to feel like that he can do it.
Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, out to huddle with his infielders and his pitcher. All 3 outfielders move into shallow territory. Fly balls where they are set up, they should have a chance to throw the runner out.
I think you got to make sure when you place your outfielders and your depth in this situation, you have to make sure that they are shallow enough that they can absolutely positively throw the runner out at home. And I think they're too deep. I think Bosch is too deep. Hamilton is probably about right. And I think Jay Bruce, needs to come in a couple of steps because this kid at third base can really run.
The Reds infield, edge of the grass. 1 out here in the 9th. Here's Ruff. That misses wide. Started with a double by Herrera. He's now sitting at third. Big swing and a foul ball. This year, Ruff is 1 for 10. That was a home run as a pinch hitter. Overall, 3 for 33 as a pinch hitter in his career. That's blooped into right, and that'll knock in the game-winning run here in the ninth. Got just enough to get it into the outfield. Ruff will be the hero. Herrera scores the winning run. And the Reds, with a 4-1 lead, see the lead evaporate in the eighth. And in the ninth, the Phillies end their 7-game losing streak with a 5-4 victory. Tonight's steel power tool performer, Mr. Ruff, Chris.
I'm not sure who is more stunned, the Reds or the Phillies right now. The Reds seemingly in control of this ball game the entire game. And probably coming back, the Phillies a 2-run homer in the eighth, a walk-off pinch hit RBI single by Darren Ruff. And just like that, the Reds lose this ball game in a heartbreaking fashion.
Walk-off pinch hit RBI single by Ruff. Cingrani takes the loss. He's 0-2. Papelbon will get the victory. That's his first win of the year. 2 hours, 52 minutes of baseball. What looked like a smiling scoreboard for the Reds. Instead, the bell tolls for the Reds, and the Phillies win it by a final of 5-4. More to come. We've got the postgame coming up. Sponsored by Performance Kings Honda with Kip Pecora and Brian Giesenflaw.